bitches go.
We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Boxing Ego Unpacked. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Wow. Canelo versus Billy Joe Saunders. It comes out. It was never a finalized signed fight, even before the pandemic. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to my channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the Super Chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, the Cash App, and the Patreon family. We working. Now, the Patreon has been revamped. Go check it out if you want to sign up. I'm putting content on there, as well as giving content, early access and different stuff for channel members on YouTube. So I suggest people sign up because we're switching some things around on the channel. You know, still going to have regular videos on the channel too, but there's some perks and different things to help grow the channel. Now, ESPN Plus bundle, get that. The link is in the description box of all of my videos. All you have to do is click on it, and it does help the channel, helps the channel grow. Get the ESPN Plus bundle, which includes ESPN Plus, Hulu, and Disney Plus. All three of those apps, $12.99. A lot of people on lockdown unless you have an essential job, quarantine, trapped at the house, trapped at the apartment, trapped at the townhouse, you know, the brownstones, wherever you live. You might want some content, you know, so you don't go stir crazy. And let me know what you guys have been doing for your quarantines too. Use that link, holla at that link. It does help the channel. Now, this was pretty shocking. Golden Boy did an interview with Sky Sports. I will link in the description, as well as you can read along on my channel. You know, if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. I drop content daily. I do live streams. I cover the fights live when, you know, boxing has live events. And, you know, we talk this boxing thing. So you guys see, it says Saul Canelo Alvarez wants to fight abroad and has considered the UK, says his promoters with Golden Boy. Says Saul Canelo Alvarez has held talks about a fight in the UK because the idea of major stadium main event is, quote, very attractive to him, according to the president, one of his promoters with Golden Boy. Special guest, my personal assistant, Moneypenny. We're going to go through this.
Canelo's next opponent, Saunders, was being considered, but there are other considerations that we have. Saul Canelo Alvarez has held talks about a fight in the UK because the idea of a major stadium main event is very attractive to him, according to the president of his promoters, Golden Boy. The acclaimed Mexican has never boxed outside of his home country or the US and has fought classic battles with Floyd Mayweather and Gennady Golovkin on Mexico's national holidays, but wants to become a more international star. He wants to fight abroad, and we have discussed with him fighting in Japan, a homecoming in Mexico, and the UK. Golden Boy president Eric Gomez exclusively told Sky Sports he has considered all of those options and, before he retires, he will fight abroad. We were considering the UK. It can happen in the next 2 years. It's about his brand. He wants to become a more international star, not just fighting in the US. He wants to become an even bigger star than he is now. He has fans all over the world and he wants to build on that. Anthony Joshua's inspiration to fight at New York City's Madison Square Garden was partly due to the atmosphere when he was ringside at that venue to watch Canelo.
See, that doesn't make sense. It said Anthony Joshua's inspiration to fight at New York's Madison Square Garden was partly due to the atmosphere when he was ringside to watch Canelo. So Canelo's doing the opposite. So he's basically, Joshua was a legend, even though he turned down $50 million to fight Wilder in America and was later down to fight Gerald Miller, which he failed a drug test. So it ended up being Andy Ruiz, which he lost that first fight, by the way. So you fought for less money on American soil, but didn't fight Wilder for $50 million and 50% of the back end of a pay-per-view, to not fight on pay-per-view and not get any back end money, and to lose for a smaller fee. So that makes no sense. But anyway, it says Joshua was inspired by the crowd for Canelo fielding. So now we're supposed to believe. So basically, America's a great place for fights, and now Canelo wants to do the opposite, which is go to the UK and Japan and things that no one has really asked for except for the business deals, like Japanese investors and promoters and stuff. The only place abroad that they've mentioned that seems like it would be a hit would be if he fought in Mexico, because he hasn't really been back since he broke through in America. But let's continue. Money Penny, come on.
But Canelo has also been inspired by Joshua's epic stadium events. The world heavyweight champion has headlined 4 times at outside stadia, including his sensational Wembley win against Vladimir Klitschko. Asked if Canelo's enthusiasm was to fight at a UK stadium, Gomez said, "Yes, it is. That is very attractive to him." Canelo was expected to challenge Britain's Billy Joe Saunders for the WBO Super Middleweight Championship on May 2nd in Las Vegas, on Cinco de Mayo, until the coronavirus pandemic struck. Saunders has since had his license suspended by the British Boxing Board of Control for a video posted to social media. Canelo could still opt for a different opponent in his next fight, Gomez says. "We never finalized." Saunders.
Wow. Gomez says we never finalized. So they never, like, after all this time, and I'm going to talk about it more. We got to get through this. But after all this time, I told you, I don't know what's going on. See, I got to save my thoughts because I'm about to go off right now, Ego Valley style. It says we had never finalized the Saunders fight.
We never finalized. Saunders was being considered, but there are other considerations that we have. There is no signed contract. It's up in the air. We were very close to finalizing details for this fight when the coronavirus hit. Once we have a clearer picture, we will revisit everything. He will be one of the names considered. He is a talented fighter with a great record and he is a champion. Callum Smith, the undefeated WBA super middleweight champion, was also in the running for the lucrative opportunity to face Canelo but had seemingly missed out to Saunders.
And Callum Smith said, they're saying he was in the running. His name was floating around, just like allegedly Charlo, but the train left, and allegedly Caleb Plant, but the train left for that too. Callum Smith, he already said on record to Sky Sport, who wrote this article, that they got one offer. It was low. Billy Joe Saunders got a similar or the same offer. He too thought it was low. They both turned it down, yet and still, instead of negotiating with both parties, they only opted to negotiate, which they never actually got to a final deal before they had to pull the plug because of the pandemic. And Callum Smith said he was never offered, a secondary offer or, come back to the table. Let's, work this out. So they didn't really want to fight Callum Smith. That's what it looks like. You used his name, but you weren't really your first choice was Billy Joe Saunders, who also looked horrible. Both Callum Smith and Billy Joe Saunders coming off bad performances. But continue, Moneypenny.
Trilogy fight with his great rival Golovkin. Canelo won the rematch after a draw in the first meeting, is also an option. Canelo could still opt to face someone else instead of Saunders, Gomez said. Possibly. We won't know until we are ready to start business again. It has a lot to do with where the fight will take place and whether we can have fans. We will get down to the nitty-gritty when restrictions are lifted. Asked if Canelo could fight behind closed doors, Gomez said, "We have to consider anything and everything. If we are forced to, we have to consider that. But Canelo is the biggest draw in boxing and many fans get excited to watch him. Any available option, we have to consider it." Canelo had also been in negotiations to face Ryota Mato in Japan before turning his attention to Saunders. There were great sponsors behind it and it was a great business deal, Gomez said about taking Canelo to the land of the rising.
Oh, whoa, yo, hold up. Not me, not Marshall. I'll show you Marshall. Listen, there were great sponsors behind it, and it was a great business deal. Once again, so the criticism that Canelo receives, now you see why. The quote from the president of Golden Boy, one of his promoters, there was great sponsors behind it, and it was a great business deal. Nothing about I told you, this is that promoter talk. So a couple, stanzas earlier, he just said, "Oh, we have to consider every option. Preferably, we want to fight in front of a crowd because Canelo has so many fans and, you know, he wants to entertain and please the fans. Okay, cool. But now, sentences later, listen to what he's saying. There were great sponsors behind it, and it was a great deal. Because in Japan, you know, something that's out of the norm, like Mike Tyson fighting Buster Douglas in Tokyo Dome, or Floyd Mayweather fighting Tenshin Nasukawa, right? Which people fronted on Floyd. He told you, he said, I ain't trained for the fight. Easy $10 million. You see what I'm saying? But since the racists and the old media hate Floyd so much, when Floyd does it, Floyd controls boxing, bro. When Floyd does all of these things, people criticize him for it. Oh, why you fighting in Japan against Tenshin Nasukawa? Ooh. Why you doing this exhibit? He getting an easy payday. He stopped the kid in 1 round. I would stop the kid in 1 round for $10 million too. You see what I'm saying? But he's ridiculed for that. When he does this crossover UFC fighter versus a boxer in boxing with Conor McGregor. Oh, this is a circus. This is disgusting. He ruined his legacy. You know, this is what old media wants you to think. And then guess what? Then De La Hoya calls out, after criticizing Mayweather for doing it, De La Hoya calls out Conor McGregor. Then De La Hoya keeps saying he wants Canelo to fight Conor McGregor. You know, you see other fighters engaging with MMA fighters and trying to cross over. Man, this is crazy. Old media, they getting buried. They getting buried because they're not consistent. But anyway, he says there are great sponsors behind it. Nothing about the fans. Nothing about, oh, this is a great fight for fans. The world knows that nobody's really checking for Ryota Murata versus Canelo in Japan. That's a weird decision from DAZN, and I would say it's a weird decision for Golden Boy, but it's not, because he just gave you the blueprint, like Jay-Z. He gave you the blueprint. He gave you that blueprint too, right? He said there were great sponsors because there's a lot of business magnates and entrepreneurs and billionaires and massively successful rich people in parts of Asia, and Japan included. Very high-tech place, things like that, skyscrapers and whatnot. So there was money out there, just like why you see Eddie Hearn also on DAZN taking fights to Saudi Arabia. They're trying to put fights in these more obscure locations for American talent that has been, I guess, cultivated in America, you know, whether they're from America like Canelo or not. But basically, these are just, you know, weird locations to put certain fights unless you're doing it for the business aspect. You see what I'm saying? Like Joshua Ruiz, you know, that would have been huge in Mexico. That would have made a lot of sense. Going back to New York, that would have been crazy. But they put it in Saudi Arabia because, again, they want money and crazy site fees and stuff that people in different countries are willing to pay. Ryota Murata, don't get it twisted. Him versus Canelo is not anything that the fans are bequesting. This is not anything that I've heard not one fan, even diehard Canelo fans, I haven't heard anyone say, you know what I want to see? That, you know, some people may even want to see Triple G3. I have not seen one person or heard one person say, man, the fight that need to happen next, not Charlo, not Andrade, not Beterbiev, not David Benavidez, who just called Canelo out, not Caleb Plant with a full training camp, but Ryota Murata. Nobody's even checking for that. But let's get through the article, and then I'll give you some more of my thoughts. Smash the like button. You know how I do.
There were great sponsors behind it, and it was a great business deal. Gomez said about taking Canelo to the land of the rising sun. Obviously, Murata is one of the top champions at middleweight, so that was a consideration as well.
That's cap. He says Murata is one of the top champions at middleweight, so that was a consideration as well. Man, we Unpacked coming to you live. Bro, see, now you guys see, this is why Canelo gets criticized. He says, obviously, what do you mean, obviously, Murata is one of the top champions? Says who? You know, he alright, but he lost 2 fights. Rob Brandt, you know, who lost the World Boxing Super Series before Ryota Murata. And even though it's controversial, you know, the not really that fight, but the Hassan Endam fight, he lost that one too. You know what I'm saying? And he's saying obviously Murata's one of the big. They're trying to force feed you what they want. So I want to see. I can't wait till this pandemic ends to see what promoters start doing, because DAZN, you know, they're furloughing employees and obviously taking probably the biggest hit. Their companies are all taking a hit, but they're probably taking the biggest hit because they really were surviving off of the live event. That was their bread and butter. So they have no live event. So it's going to be real interesting to see what DAZN will or won't approve. Ryota Murata, you know, in America where they're trying to break through and charge $20 to $100, that is just not a fight that's people are asking for. I'm sorry, I had to keep stopping Money Penny. We're going to get through this though. Smash the like button.
Obviously, Murata is one of the top champions at middleweight, so that was a consideration as well. Canelo knocked out Sergey Kovalev in his most recent fight, adding a world light heavyweight title to his waist. He has won major belts in 4 divisions but would strengthen his grip over the super middleweight division by winning Saunders' WBO belt. He has beaten 5 Brits already: Matthew Hutton, Ryan Rhodes, Amir Khan, Liam Smith, and Rocky Fielding. Saul Canelo up.
Thank you, Money Penny. Man, I got to be the 007 of this boxing stuff. You know, the kid with the cool gadgets, the kid with the golden voice. Smash the like button. But listen, they just told you everything in a nutshell that I've been telling you. He has beaten 5 Brits already. How many British fighters from the UK, from England, from Liverpool, you know, from Suffolk, from London, you know, does Canelo, from Lancaster, does Canelo have to fight when there's people like Charlo and a guy on his own network or platform, DAZN, named Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade? When David Benavidez, I could show you, listen, I could show you right now what you want. I'm giving it to you how you want it. You want me to show you right now? Okay. David Benavidez, we gonna pull this up right now. Listen, I told you, Canelo is a good, and it's sad what they're doing with Canelo's career right now, but we're gonna talk about it. So look at this is David Benavidez, man. Tell me this kid ain't a beast. Ooh. Ooh. Body shot. That's not even the one I want to show y'all. But look, you see right there. Watch. Ooh. Ooh, take that. Take that. That's that bad boy. See, that's strong right there. That's not even the one. Hold on. I got the hookup. And he big too. He's like 6'2". That's not even a clip, bro. How many clips he got? Hold on. Look at them left hooks. Man, this would be a great fight for Canelo. And he wants to be at 160. Ooh, eat that. Take that. Hey, I'm getting hyped. Okay, Benavidez. Look at that left hook. And he just stopped someone who hasn't been stopped, and Anthony Durrell on a very great card. Errol Spence versus Sean Porter. I was there. Who's this? His girl? See? Bro, Benavidez is the one. And he's Mexican-American. A Mexican fighter versus Mexican-American. Imagine that. Especially since Canelo wants the Mexican dates. Cinco de Mayo and, you know, Mexican Independence Day weekend in September. Look, he just got called out. The best fight to make at 168. Let's make it happen and give the fight fans a hell of a fight. Canelo. All respectful. You know, he's not like disrespecting Canelo. I mean, you can't really disrespect Canelo in terms of acting like he's weak or something. You know, it just don't make sense for Canelo to be looking at options like Ryota Murata or 2 British guys to add to his already 5 British guys he's already fought, which is what I told you. New media, Death Row East, please believe in that. Do you believe in God and believe in Death Row East? I told you everything I say keep coming true. You already beat 5 British fighters. When can we see a change up of style? Just like the DAZN show, a change up. When can we see a change of style? You do well with certain styles. Let's see him against Charlo, Andre, Caleb Plant, David Benavidez, Artur Beterbiev. You know, not guys that look like they're fading and stuff. This is why Canelo, again, he's a great fighter. Look, he's a great fighter. But people want to see challenges, and he's the man, you know, one of the men atop of the sport. So it's like, when can we get, look at him on the bag, Benavidez. You can put that in Texas right now, because I was at Errol Spence' other fight with Mikey Garcia, and David Benavidez was a co-feature, and he knocked out Jay Leon Love. So he's on a knockout streak. And Canelo says he wants to stay at 168, but he's talking about Billy Joe Saunders, and even the president of Golden Boy is telling you that when things resume, Canelo might take an in-between fight before Golovkin, maybe. You know, it depends when this ends, I'm presuming. And they're still looking at Billy Joe Saunders. Why? He just got Donkey of the Day. He put out that nasty video. Why not give someone else an opportunity who's been waiting and probably more deserving? You know? How come Demetrius Andrade signed to DAZN before Billy Joe Saunders, well before him, and then before Canelo, and he's just in the queue, and DAZN ain't giving him no looks, you know, with a guy like Canelo or Golovkin? And then they're trying to force feed us fights like Ryota Murata or Golovkin 3. Listen, I have no interest. Listen to me. Boxing Ego said this. Ego. I have no interest really in Canelo versus Triple G 3. I'll watch it. I'm a fan of boxing. I watch Telemundo fights, you know, if they're on. I don't have an interest in it. Like, I'm not really interested. When boxing comes back, that's not what I'm checking for. I want to see Teofimo Lomachenko, Daniel Dubois, Joe Joyce. Those are real good fights. Wilder Fury 3, Fury Wilder 3, whatever you want to call it. Like, these are the fights I'm checking for. Stuff like that. Not Canelo versus Triple G, or people coming off bad performances and certain styles that we know he fares well with. This is the game plan. Triple G gonna get stopped. He's gonna get stopped, or it's gonna be convincing. It's gonna be punishment, or he getting stopped by Canelo. And it's gonna be Canelo's most convincing out of the 3 fights. Once they have the 3rd fight, it'll be his most convincing win. Triple G looks washed. It's just what it is. That's why they come to my channel, for that real, that uncut, that raw, that puro. You know, you could say whatever you want. You could beat around the bush. I'm telling you what it is in this boxing game. Life is short. You know, we got this pandemic going on. Canelo's a great fighter. I've never taken that away from him. But people want to see him start making the decisions that positively impact the fans and his legacy. Fights with Ryota Murata, you know, there's some money there, I'm sure, from Japan. But what is that doing for the world of boxing? Are you helping turn on new fans? Or is it just like fights like the Kovalev fight that look FAF, and, you know, Kovalev looked shot and he looked like, this is Canelo's looking like the bone collector. You see what I'm saying? Because when he fights Triple G, if Triple G looks like the worst version of Triple G that we've ever seen, just like Kovalev, then what is that saying about when he, okay, fight, do that to Benavidez and Charlo. Okay, I hear you, Canelo. Damn, Canelo's a beast when it. See, I'm trying to see the smoke, man. But anyway, you guys let me know what you guys think. To wrap this up, it's shocking what they're doing to Canelo's career. Shocking. Since he's been with DAZN. The great thing about Canelo being on DAZN is he's getting paid. Nobody can dispute that. He's getting money, and hopefully he's happy, you know, at a happy spot in his life, things like that. But as far as career-wise, career decisions, the Derevyanchenko fight fell out. They allegedly had a Charlo offer that mysteriously no one knows who rejected it, and it fell out. Caleb Plant, even though he was fighting Vincent Fainsbutt on PBC, they acted like he had an offer and he fell out. Triple G, they couldn't get Canelo to fight him last year, but then Triple G looks like a dud versus Derevyanchenko. Now they want to fight him. The Ryota Murata fight stalled out. Then now they're saying, Derevyanchenko fight fell out. Kovalev first negotiations fell out. This is all on DAZN, bro. All since he's been with DAZN. And then to add insult to injury, as you guys seen, his own promoter is admitting that they never even had the Billy Joe Saunders fight finished. So you can't even blame the Rona. You can't blame the Rona on that. You can't say, oh, it's because the Rona, the pandemic has shut everything down. Because it says in this article, which I will link in the description, it says that Canelo wants to be an international star, whoop, whoop, whoop. And it says the fight with Saunders, look, boom, we got action. Quote, we never finalized Billy Joe Saunders fight. That was being considered, but there are other considerations that we have. There is no signed contract. So since they have no signed contract and the pandemic pushed everything off for sure, and Billy Joe Saunders put out that video and he has his boxing license in the UK suspended, why not give one of these other hungry, deserving people a chance? From 160 to 175, the divisions that Canelo wants to be at. And I told you the walls are closing in for Canelo, because even if he tries to run from 160 and Charlo and Andrade and never go back to 160, which is definitely a possibility, Black Murderers Road 2.0, Benavidez just called you out. Caleb Plant, I've already talked to him. He said that he would, I talked to him in the past, he said he would definitely take a Canelo fight. He respects Canelo and everything. So you got work at 168, You got some great names at 168. So as the walls are closing in, how can you say Charlo? Nah. Boo Boo? Nah. Better Biev? Nah. Dimitri Bivol said he'll fight me at 68 or 75 where he's the champion? Nah. David Benavidez is calling me out? Nah, he just wants my money. This is what the Canelo man fans do. They just, everybody who wants to fight Canelo, they just allegedly want a paycheck and they know they're gonna lose and they're just calling them out. You can't go through all these Better Bievs and Bevols and Plants and Charlos and Andre, all these people who won at Canelo because they respect him, most of them that I've seen, and it means something if they can beat Canelo and they feel they can beat him. And then you land on Ryota Murata in the midst of all that, or two British guys when you've already fought 5, which I told you was a pattern. And this article so eloquently listed them all, which I've already done for you. See, I tell you, we control the narrative, new media. And then you land on Ryota Murata, Triple G3. These are fights that nobody's really like. I know Triple G fans that don't even want to see the fight. Like, they're like, okay, we know it's going to happen. Canelo's going to beat him. And these are people who thought Triple G won the first and second fight. So that shows you how much Triple G has regressed. He's regressed to a point where even some of the diehardest Triple G fans know that a loss is imminent based on how he's looked recently, and give him very little chance if he is to fight this man you see on the screen, Canelo I was born ready, Alvarez. And that's just what it is. So stale fights like that we've already seen for 24 rounds with Triple G. He looked bad. Canelo admits, listen, everything I'm saying with new media, Canelo, Golovkin, Daryev, I be forgetting how to spell it, Deryevchenko. Look, boom. You see how easy I pull this stuff up? This is Canelo last year. Canelo Alvarez uninterested in a third Triple G fight, says Deryevchenko beat him. Boom. You see how quick I pull this up? New media. We control the narrative. So this article by a former ESPN writer from last year, and this was reported by other people, October 11th of last year, Canelo Alvarez is preparing for his move to light heavyweight to fight blah, blah, blah. But he was unimpressed with Golovkin's recent fight. See, he came away unimpressed. He says, look, this is why my channel continues to grow. You can say whatever you want about me, call me names and say I'm hating and all this stuff, but the proof is in the pudding, like Bill Cosby. I would like to talk to you about the pudding and the jello and the canelo. You see, The proof is in the pudding. He said, we saw it. Obviously, for me, Derevyanchenko won the fight. Alvarez said through an interpreter. So he even knows what I'm telling you, that Derevyanchenko really beat Golovkin. He said it was a fight where Derevyanchenko looked really well. Alvarez said it was a fight regarding Triple G. We all know, everyone knows, it's unnecessary to say more, but Triple G looked slow. And I think I gave everyone the pathway to see how to hurt him, which is to the body, which we saw. I said it before the fight, and I'm going to repeat it. Alvarez says, for me, the fight presents no challenge to me right now. We fought 2 times, 24 rounds, which is what I've been saying. I beat him, so he represents no challenge. See, this, I don't even think Canelo, this might be DAZN. I don't know. But this might, because he's so insistent on not fighting Golovkin, but then he's been pressured by Golden Boy or DAZN, probably DAZN, because they're like forcing this fight. Oh, just fight him. And then now he's having to recant everything he said. He said it's no challenge to me, and he lost his last fight. So that's not a good selling point to make me want to see a third Triple G fight. And this is what they're doing to Canelo's career. So I hope he's enjoying the money. But fights like Ryota Murata, fights like the Kovalev fight look horrible. You know, and then there's stern challenges that we all believe in our minds on paper would be great challenges for Canelo, and seemingly those never get done. You know, but people have bad performances like Billy Joe Saunders, Caleb Smith, at least get an offer. But Andre never gets an offer, never gets serious negotiation. Listen, we Unpacked, coming to you live. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.